Give you precedent.
Before we go to the well, it will be good to give precedent.
Great.
Let's give precedent.
So when President Akufo took over, he did not immediately sack every senior general he came to meet. Up until somewhere 2005, that was when he promoted Brigadier General J.B. Dankwa as Major General and subsequently appointed him as the Chief of Defense Staff. So he waited for people to serve their term. And then when fewer senior generals were left, to end their term, that was when Major General J.B. Dankwa was appointed. When President Akufo-Addo took over, the only change that he made were two. He changed the Chief of Defense Staff and then the Chief of Staff. So the Chief of Defense Staff at the time was Air Marshal Samson Oje. He replaced him with a Major General who at the time had been appointed by President Mahama in 2015-2016 as the Chief of Army Staff. He worked with him and rather promoted a general promoted by President Mahama, appointed by President Mahama as Chief of Army Staff. That was a general President Akufo-Addo promoted to the rank of Chief of Defense Staff in the person of Lieutenant General Boama Akwa. Now, the second person that he changed was the Chief of Staff, the respected Major General Adeti was also changed. Those were the only two changes. Now, when those changes occurred, the Chief of Army Staff, General Boama Akwa, had been replaced. So that position became vacant. In final replacement for the Army Commander, President Akufo-Addo did not terminate everybody's appointment. He, as a matter of fact, looked for the next most senior general at the time, General Ayamdo, and appointed him as the Chief of Army Staff.
If we trace it back because of precedents, you've cited example from the era of ex-President Akufo down through to ex-president at the time, who is now the president, John Dramani Mahama, down through to Akufo-Addo, ex-president.
And then President Mills. I will establish all that, but just in a minute.
Okay.
So only these two were changed. Now, the Chief of Naval Staff at the time, Rear Admiral Peter Fedu, was left in position. President Akufo-Addo came to meet him, appointed by President Mahama, but he worked with him. And he stood in and worked as the Chief of Naval Staff until he served his full term in 2019. The Chief of Air Staff at the time, Air Vice Marshal Manchebi Tai Nagai, was left in position to serve his full term. Nobody changed them. And did we have any coup d'etat in this country? Did we have any instability? Because President Akufo-Addo has come to work with President Mahama's appointees? No, there was absolute loyalty to the state and there was no disruption. There was morale was at its highest best. That is the kind of precedent set. President Mills also did the same thing. We didn't hear mass termination of generals to the rank of Major General, 2-star and above, all terminated like the way we have seen.
But